I've been growing this out, and I will say it's uncomfortable. It's been all right. Like the title says, why I decided to grow out my thinning hair. I shaved my head in March of 2020, and some could say that it was even prematurely shaved. Basically, I got a little comfortable. I got really comfortable with a shaved head. I didn't like when would show any sort of thinning. Basically, my biggest insecurity was not being bald and like wearing a hat and shit. It was like I was afraid someone was gonna see my thin ass hair and think I thought that it looked good. I know that sounds crazy, but that was literally my number one insecurity. Like I didn't want people to think like, oh, this guy thinks he's looking so hot with his thin ass hair. Philosophically, like, who gives a shit what people think? But like, that was honestly like my biggest insecurity. Right now, you might be thinking, like, what the fuck is he talking about? Your hair looks perfectly fine. Oh, you like my bed head for the first time in 3 years? It's just because of the dim lighting. Basically, I will definitely post a photo right now, and this is what I looked like normally. This is what I look like normally. Bald head. I don't know. It's a good look. I don't know. I got used to having it. Then every once in a while, it'll kind of grow out more. I am a little fortunate. I have some sparseness at the top. I'm not like totally Larry Davided out. It started out when I shaved my head the day before Christmas, and then I was going to a New Year's party, and I was just kind of like fucking lazy, and I didn't want to shave my head, and it was a joke. I was like, we going into 2023 with hair, and like it was a joke, and I'll here's the photos of me at that New Year's party. Like it doesn't look that bad, you know. Like I have hair at the top, and then I'll put another photo right here. I think the lighting just makes it look really good too. That's what started my whole like, oh, I went a week, which isn't completely that long. I think the longest I would go was like a week or so, 2 weeks. Maybe I went 3 weeks one time in winter when I was like being lazy as fuck. I just kind of kept going, and then it was winter and my room was cold, and I was like, all right, let's see how fucking long I can actually go. And then it started like kind of snowballing, I guess. There's that guy Bald Cafe. He's been growing his hair out recently. It was interesting, like philosophically, of like, if you don't care what you look like with the thin hair, then is that conquering balding? You know, it's like this weird. I personally believe a shaved head just looks cleaner. It just looks sicker than the thin hair. But like a lot of those guys on that channel, they've clung for dear life. They've held on to it so much that they kind of might have accidentally conquered my worst fear, which is being out in the world with thin ass hair. For whatever reason, a lot of those people on Bald Cafe, they just can't like shave their head. They can't accept the baldness thing, so they'd rather, you know, have thin ass hair or like comb over or something. You know, everyone has their own different insecurities. I guess I would say I'm more aligned with Harry from Bald Cafe's first reason for shaving their head. You want to take control over it. You don't want anyone to see you with that shaved head. Again, almost like when I look back on it now, like this is how much hair I have right now. It's like I definitely had a lot more 3 years ago too. So it's like there are some people who probably could be like, oh my god, you shaved it prematurely. Or there's some people who are like, what is it, Norwood, whatever, Zero or some shit, Larry David, who would probably kill to have hair like this. It doesn't look that bad in this lighting. Look at this shit again. It's not great. And then even angles, it's like, oh, it looks fire, huh? And look at this angle. I look like a fucking hype. I just don't like the way I look, you know? Some could say, like, maybe I prematurely shaved it. Maybe. Now I'm getting to the point where I've known I've wanted to get scalp micropigmentation for like a long ass time. Like I fuck with it. I've been kind of like feeling it more lately. Like I'm going to get it. So basically, I've just been getting more mentally prepared for getting SMP eventually, which AKA I have to shave my head every fucking day or every other day, which in my opinion is like the worst part because I fucking hate having to like be forced to do anything. But yeah, so I don't know when I'll actually get SMP because I have a lot of hair. Even again, look at the thin pic, still thin as fuck, but still like a decent amount of hair. So I think for this step in my bald hair loss journey, it's probably like the step where I start just shaving my head once a week, once every week and a half, and like don't really care what I look like because I think that after 5 or so days, it doesn't look so bad. After 10 days, that's when I kind of don't like it. And yeah, getting back to the Ball Cafe thing, he was saying it was like his final test or whatever, accepting this like thinning hair. I kind of got what he meant, where I was like, oh shit, like, what's the point of like shaving your head every fucking day and fully accepting your baldness, not wearing a hat, rocking a fucking shaved ass head? What the fuck's the point of having all that confidence if I'm afraid of having thin hair? You know? So it's kind of like this weird conundrum thing, kind of a separate issue from the dudes who don't want to shave it. But you know, I have empathy for them as well. I guess it just is like some final not wanting to shave thing. But yeah, so I've been growing this out, and I will say it's fucking uncomfortable. It's been fucking. I've been used to like I went to a bar and went out with my friends, and I fucking wore a beanie and I wore a hat. Granted, it's winter, so you get away with it. But it's like normally I'd fucking have a shaved ass head and rock it. But I don't know. It's difficult. It's fucking difficult to walk around with like thin ass hair. Again, I will say it was like my number one insecurity of just someone seeing my thin ass hair and being like, "Oh, like what's up with that guy?" Which I know, doesn't matter, but still, we're all human and we all have our human insecurities. And I guess I just like felt like I don't know. Yeah, I just felt like I was afraid that someone was gonna think I thought it looked good. So I'm just growing it out of like some like curiosity and like social experiment, but then they're gonna view me and be like, this is how this guy walks around every day. What the fuck? And I don't wanna like be viewed as that. I don't know, you just get to this point where you like don't give a shit. And I'm not sure I'm there. And I don't think I have to be there necessarily in order to cut my hair again because I do believe in looking good, feel good, you know? So it would almost be like, well, I could wear crappy clothes or remain unkept and I should be able to feel confident about that, which like philosophically, sure, like you should be able to, but I genuinely do think my shaved head looks better. This looks pretty good in this fucking lighting. Um, Look at this photo again. Yeah, it's not that great. I just genuinely think I look better with a shaved head. And I knew that I wanted to overcome this weird kind of like hair growth insecurity. And it was just difficult. I have to wear a hat. I wear a beanie. I wear a hat to the store. But then this past weekend, I was in Detroit and we went to this like fancy ass restaurant and you can't wear hats. And I knew that going into it. So I was like, fuck it. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking. And I know it doesn't even look that bad right here, but like, it's just been a long weekend. My hair was fucking disheveled. I'm at this fancy fucking like 3-course meal, $99 a plate type place. And I just realized I was like, who the fuck cares? I'm with my fucking boys, like, I'm with my friends. It, like, I don't think anyone gives a fuck what my fucking hair. Would I have felt more comfortable with a shaved head? Absolutely. Like, I probably would have looked better as well, you know? But I didn't have that, so fuck it. And I wore it without a hat and talked to the waitress, talked to everything. And I was like, wow, like, this is really interesting. Like, no one gives a fuck about your fucking hair, you know? And I think we all know that, but it's still, we're human beings. Like, knowing it and living it and embodying it are, like, completely different. And so I guess I knew I was going to shave my head no matter what in the next couple days or so. But having that experience in Detroit and actually being vulnerable without a hat with this hair, it definitely made me like, okay, I kind of, you know, it wasn't all for nothing. I kind of accomplished something, you know, and made like a step in my hair loss acceptance journey. But yeah, I'm just making this video to explain why I grew out my thinning hair after already accepting the baldness thing and shaving it all the time. It was more like, I don't know, like a social experiment or like a almost like a dare for myself. It was also like enlightening and surprising to see how much hair I actually did have, even though it looks decent right now. But then look at this photo. Yeah, I really do have like a decent amount of hair. Granted, it's not the same fucking thickness as this. Like, if this was the same thickness as this, I would fucking rock this shit all fucking day, every day. I don't give a fuck about the recession or whatever. I really don't give a shit about that. It's the fact that the hairs themselves are thinner than this stuff, you know? And I think I might shave my head soon, but I purposely left in the fucking bed head, purposely left my little fucking crustache on. Definitely gonna shave that off right now, even though I did learn some stuff on this hair growth journey, which is ironic because it's a hair loss journey, but it's hair growth journey. But yeah, I think that's it.